Yeah, this has come out this week, and also Scott Boras, who is the agent for Cody Bellinger, has also spoken out. Everybody's waiting to be contacted. So you tell us, what is the protocol, Dan, as far as reaching out to a free agent, especially when, in this case, it was your guy a year ago?
Yeah, well, to begin with, Mr. Ricketts is only getting his information from Jed Hoyer at this point in time. So Jed is relaying to him what Mr. Ricketts Tom spoke about. Like, they're waiting to be engaged again. I have no doubt that Jed and Scott have engaged a number of times throughout the entire winter. I am sure both parties know clearly where they stand at this point in time. From a club perspective, if you've made what you consider to be your final offer, you just got to move on. And then if it's to be readdressed, from my perspective, as always, the representative, in this case, Scott's got to reach back out to them and say, hey, where are we at? Is there a way we can bridge our differences? Because you just can't keep chasing it, because when you keep chasing something, you're doing a disservice to the group that you already have collected internally.
We've done shows through Thanksgiving, through Christmas, then after the holidays, and all along I've said, okay, it's getting late, but it's not late yet. I think it's late now, right? Teams are out on the field. Is it officially a little late now?
I think it's officially late, and it feels late solely because when you look at a lot of teams, it's tough to really find a spot. I mean, when the Cubs initially signed Bellinger before last season, you're assuming they probably got him for a fill-in piece for 1 year because they had Pete Crow Armstrong and Michael Busch coming up in the wings. So when you know you have some young talent that you want to give an everyday opportunity to, and they played really well in AAA, to where now it's really their turn to get that opportunity, but the player that you had previously for that 1 year, he played so well and created such a connection with his teammates and with his fan base that you feel impelled to have to at least entertain the offer. But I think inside, Mr. Ricketts and Hoyer are saying that the direction of the team that they're going right now and the place that they are right now, they feel really well in the NL Central and feel like they're in a position to win.
I think the biggest problem is, and I saw this on day one, was that the mercurial free agents, as I use, meaning an up and down erratic performance where the ceiling is sky high. Take a look at Cody Bellinger over the last several years. Here's the issue. Look, it's not part of the problem, but if you go back to 2018, 2019, Cody Bellinger was about the best player in the National League, and that's when he was 23, Dan. So he was at a superstar level. He was the MVP in 2019. He slugged .629. He had a .400 on base. He hit .300. Look what he did in 2021 and 2022. He's still with the Dodgers. I know he had the high five and he hurt his shoulder, but an OPS plus of 44, you're not in baseball usually if that's what you do. The next year it's 81. It's 100 as league average. Last year, okay, that almost makes things tougher, Dan, because clearly he's good again, but he's not great and he's not washed up. So what do you pay this guy?
Oh, boy, he's a tough one, BK. For me, I do think the shoulder injury had a huge effect on his career. Personally, I feel from a position player standpoint, a shoulder separation to me is the most problematic injury for a bat hitter to regain his natural swing again. So I don't think he was healthy in those years. But, he made some great swing adjustments last year. Can he hold on to those adjustments? I mean, we don't know.
Right.
And so that's the conundrum. That's why this guy is so polarizing, because he's a plus defender at two positions. He's a plus base runner.
Right.
He affects a game in so many different ways.
He's going to be 28. He's still a young guy.
Very, very young. So, I mean, I'm a big believer in Cody Bellinger. I'm just not sure he was priced right within the market based upon the struggles of the other 2 years. I think Scott's got a great argument based upon his health history. I think that's legitimate. But the reality of it is you still have to commit dollars to a player that's been wildly inconsistent.
I mean, you would assume if the price comes down, a little bit, it should still be a huge win for Cody Bellinger. If you had a bad season this year, you're probably on the verge of being a 1 year, $5 to $8 million guy. So if you can come out and still turn in $120 million, I think you have a lot more teams, or $100 million. I think a lot more teams come into the fold, because when you talk about the skill set that Cody Bellinger brings, can play center field, can play first base, showed huge adjustments on the offensive side to where you're hoping it was the injury that caused that, and he's really turned the corner. This story really shouldn't be that the Cubs are the only team in on a player of this caliber.
Well, he's out there.
There should be other teams that are in on a player that can really make a difference.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you get into this time of year. When you misplace a player in the market financially, you simply eliminate a lot of clubs who then turn their attention to different ways to fill their needs. So now when you're down to this small of a window, you have just a few clubs that are going to commit significant dollars to play on this particular player. And that's the problem these players are in at this point.
So do you think it would turn into a higher AAV for a shorter term or lower AAV and he'll open up a lot more?
Depends. If it's a club that's up against the luxury tax, it won't be a higher AAV for a luxury term. For an example, you know, a team like the Dodgers, or they're not going to be on it, but the Yankees or anybody else, for them to spend $40 million, it costs $80 million, where they're at in the luxury tax. So, no, they're going to want a longer deal for a lower AAV, Chris. So it just depends upon the situation. The Cubs still are a great fit. Listen, I looked at Pete Crow. I watched Pete Crow since he's been in high school. I think this kid has a chance to be the best defensive center fielder in the game. He struggled last year in AAA for me, struck out almost 30% of the time. It wouldn't hurt him to going back and playing a little bit longer in AAA, Chris, just to check off that box. Bellinger is still a great fit for them. Their lineup needs Cody Bellinger in it.
Needs some pop. Yeah.
They need Cody Bellinger in it. It just gets at a point in time, Cody's got to recognize, hey, this is what the market is. This is a good fit for me. It's still going to be incredible money at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it would get to a point as a player. Hey, just let me take the phone. Just let me take the phone call. Let me be the one to determine where I want to go and what number is comfortable for me.
Chris, you just said something that drove me crazy as a GM. When we got to these point in times, it blew me away how little engaged most of the players still are as it relates to their future. I mean, at some point in time, you've got to be really grinding on your representative to get something done because ultimately it's your future at stake.
Right.
Absolutely.
Get out there. You get face-to-face. How often would you, just quickly, how often you have the player out to dinner or something like that where you would do that?
BK, I would try to do that all the time. There are a ton of representatives in the game that they don't allow you to do that. They create a world of interference for you. They don't want that interaction. They want to control the dialogue of all those kind of conversations.
Right. You see, that's how guys get lost. There's a lot of miscommunication and all that. Now, I was saying that's what happened here. Maybe there's a straight negotiate. You got to play the game, and we know that. And he has high value. We know that as well.